Hey guys, chilling on a podcast. Just listen to sing because it's cool. Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to whoever and wherever you are. My name is Harry Barr. This is the 27 podcast, and as always, I'm joined by the wonderful Ben Butler and Joscel Manarambona. Now, before I get into it, boys, I just want to say welcome to all of our listeners, whichever platform they're using. You may notice we got a wonderful new logo created by our good friend Katy Birmingham. You can follow her Instagram on KatyAlice_arts. Guys, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you, Harry. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Before we start, can we have a round of applause for a very successful first episode?
Yes.
Yes, very successful first episode, boys.
I think at the moment, we're over 200 views on all platforms, so I think that's successful.
I think, and last week I said to the boys off the podcast, I was like, it'd be great. It'd be great if we just got 100 views.
Yeah,
that was like quite a high goal, I think, for us. And to double that is really, really quite something. So thank you so much to everyone, and a massive thank you as well to Katy again. I know Harry's already said it, but actually when we were doing this, it's sort of an idea, and then when you get something like a logo, it just really makes it, and it actually brings it to life.
Good.
Yeah,
and it's so good as well.
Yeah,
when
you put it in the chat, I was like, oh, we're actually doing this. This is a real thing. It's not just like an idea anymore.
It's
amazing.
This.
We are.
The buzzing is just insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah. Anyway, boys, I think now it's time for our quarantine update. This is our weekly segment.
Yum. Lovely stuff. So I'm going to kick it off. My update this week has been pretty dope, to be honest. Nothing much has happened. There was too different from last week. Just the fact that I got some new kit for my YouTube channel, which is pretty dope. Obviously, receiving such great reception from the podcast is absolutely insane. Like, boys, we're touching Africa, mate. That's big. We're going international. It's really, really good to be back, and it's just been nothing but good news this week. Nothing but good news. It's been great.
I was like, we've got all the way to Wales, but you're like Africa. Okay, cool.
And actually, we've hit New Zealand as well. Last night, from the time of recording, I had some really good family friends message me about the podcast, and they live in New Zealand. So we are international. This is step one to world domination.
Clearly. Definitely.
How about yourself, Harry?
I've been good, actually. I as you may be able to see, I bought myself a microphone, so it brings that top audio quality, crispness to all of your ears. Because editing it, I was like, I need a microphone. Other than that, I've actually started playing Dungeons and Dragons with some friends I've got. That's been pretty fun. We've done 2 sessions now, and in that time we have accidentally burnt down an entire island. And also accidentally killed a disabled lady.
Nice.
But other than that, though, we're doing all right. We're back on track now. So, we're doing
I love that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I love that.
Yeah, Ben, how have you been keeping?
Yeah, pretty well. I think, I don't know, right? I did quite a lot of uni work this week, and so I've pretty much done all my uni work now. So that's really good. Yeah. But it's also put me in a position where I've got one piece left, and once I do it, I won't have anything to do. Yeah. So I set myself a new challenge this week. I started the bring Sally up, bring Sally down. It's like a push-up challenge.
Oh yeah, yeah, I saw that.
And it's really difficult. Mm-hmm. It is really hard, but it's quite fun actually. Like I quite enjoy doing it. I do it twice a day. So I do it once in the morning and once like late afternoon. Yeah. And it is really cool as well because every day my time has got better. Yeah. So hopefully by the end of lockdown, I don't know when it's going to end, but
you'll be absolutely massive.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's but it's like I can do press ups. Like I've worked a lot on press ups, so now I can do them quite well. And you don't actually do many press ups, but it's like the holding yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like and there's this bit where you go down. And it's like And
burns.
you got holding for ages,
It
and then you got to
burns,
go back up, and
Yeah.
it's really good.
Yeah,
But it
that's
is really good fun.
insane.
And I
Yeah.
have set the challenge to all the boys in the group chat, but no one has seemed to have done it.
I mean,
Actually, Lamo did it, didn't he? I think
I'll
he
do it.
got one
I'll do it
thing.
when Jake does it. That's what I'm saying.
So never.
Yeah, so never.
Oh dear.
Jesus.
Yeah,
So
but
let's
I
let it
think
down.
I think what all the listeners want to know is how's the Tash coming along?
Yes. So for all our YouTube viewers,
Tash
I'll give you a little update.
Oh, that is looking strong.
That is a meaty
That is a
tash.
moustache. That is now a moustache. It's no longer like a milk.
Wow.
That is a moustache.
So I FaceTimed my dad yesterday, and I have FaceTimed him since we've been in lockdown, but obviously it's been growing.
Yeah.
And so I FaceTimed it yesterday, and I had like the laptop quite close to my face. And honestly, the first thing he said was like, "What is that on your face?" And I was like, "Oh, it's my isolation moustache." And he was like, "Oh, it's awful. It's rubbish." And I was like, "Oh, thanks."
It's awful.
And actually, my mum hates it. My mum really, really hates it.
Oh no.
And Freddie, my brother, who is 15, he's at that like pubescent stage where they sort of grow, but they look rubbish.
Yeah, wispy.
They look really bad. So my mum's like always like, right, you need to shave it. And so my mum bribed him the other day and was like, right, I will buy you an Xbox game if you shave it.
Whole game.
Freddie got a whole new game out of it.
That's incredible.
And then I went to my mum the other day and I was like, "Oh, mum, I really like this." And she was like, "If you shave your tash," and I was like, "Oh, I can't
if you
do
just
that.
leave it
Can't
long
do that,
enough so you
I'm
can get a car, be like, "Oh, I really fancy getting a new car, mum."
Just grow out the whole beard and
Go like a proper handlebar down here.
yeah, really, really milk it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be quite cool. But no, it's going well. So it starts to itch as well.
Yeah.
Like it tickles my nose, which is quite annoying. But other than that, it's okay. Joscel, how's your bum flap?
I just wish to grow a facial hair at this point. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's just it's I don't even know what to call it at this point. I honestly don't. But I am sprouting some sideburns. I woke up this morning when I was doing my skincare routine. I could see little like sprouts on the side of my. I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. It only took 21 years, boys, but it's happening.
Don't go outside on a windy day.
Gas.
Yeah, just still come on. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing compared to Harry's. Harry's got a full-fledged.
Yeah, no, I'm doing.
He said that for a while as well.
I did actually trim it the other day, and I had the razor on the wrong
Harry.
setting, so like it was like super short, but it's grown back quite nicely. But, yeah.
Harry, can I ask you a question?
What?
How many views would we have to get on YouTube, and how many streams would we have to get for you to shave your whole beard off?
Well,
This
I've been
is
thinking about
fantastic.
this. I have been
And
thinking about
we
this.
could raise money for the NHS.
Yeah, exactly.
The NHS is a
Exactly.
publicly funded source, Ben.
Yeah, I know. But hey, if Captain Tom can do it,
Captain Tom.
Mhm.
Yeah. However, if you look at our lovely logo designed by Katy Birmingham, I have a beard on the thumbnail, and I'd hate to ruin that just 2 episodes in. So I'm sorry, boys.
Okay.
It's staying.
okay, fine. I think we should talk about Captain Tom. Actually, how amazing was that?
Oh, incredible! It was it for
20
his 100th
million.
It was for his 100th birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That's
he was like, I'll
insane.
do 100 laps in my garden to raise money for the NHS. I think it was like £500.
Yeah, he wanted
was
500,
the original, and now he's on 20 million.
That's insane.
Mental.
That's crazy.
20 million. That's
Absolutely insane.
it is unreal, and it just shows, people in the UK we're very particular in our ways, but actually when it comes to some things we can really unite as a country.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you look at like Children in Need, Red Nose Day, all that stuff, like we raise tens of hundreds of millions of pounds like over the year. And just because it's a weird. We don't really talk about it very much, but I think the UK as a whole, charitably, is quite charitable.
We're very good. We are very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's just, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but some of the things I've been doing in isolation is watching the Stand Up to Cancer Great British
The
Bake
Bake-Offs.
Offs. Oh, they are so good. They are so funny. Like some of them, the first few, were really, really good. But then the last one wasn't so great.
Yeah.
But some of the people on it are just hilarious. Like, I know it was last year, but like, is it James Acaster?
Oh yeah.
He's
Started
loving
making
how-
it.
Yeah.
Had a breakdown.
Yeah.
Bon appetit.
That is so brilliant. And did you guys see the one where Joe Sugg cut his thumb?
Oh, and he fainted.
No.
Passed out.
Yeah.
Did he actually?
Yeah.
On
This is like
television?
20. Yeah. This is like 20 minutes into the show, isn't it?
Horrendous.
So
Joe Sugg, he appears on all these, like, he's been on Strictly, he's been on that. He's like the mainstream media is like, this is what a YouTuber does and is. And like, he goes on Great British Bake Off and then faints like 5 minutes in. And I'm like, oh no.
the question is, if this takes off, who's going on Strictly first?
I mean, it's got to be me.
All right, we'll designate it now. So the listeners-
I'm doing Strictly, you're doing Bake Off, and Jocel's doing Love Island, maybe.
What a dub.
Yeah, or the Dancing on Ice.
Oh
Dancing.
yeah.
I can be on Dancing on Ice, to be honest.
And then each year we'll take it in turns on I'm a Celeb.
Yeah. Perfect. I'm glad that we've got that sorted.
As if you can't tell, we have. I was gonna say, if you can't tell, we've got big aspirations.
Yeah.
Huge.
It's gonna be. Yeah.
No, it's
to be honest, before this quarantine business, I do ice skate. You don't know this, but I went ice skating. Granted, it was only once, but that was like I wanted to do ice skating.
Oh, it's fun.
Ever since we went to the ice hockey game in New York, I was like, oh my god, I want to learn how to ice skate, and
that was amazing.
That was insane. But yeah,
I've only been once ice skating, and it was horrific. I could not stand up, and I was with my girlfriend at the time, and she was really good, and she was like going around with this figure of eights, and like I was like, oh my gosh, and I was literally like stood on the side because I just couldn't go anywhere.
Like just holding onto the barrier.
And she
You
was
get a
like,
penguin.
No, you have to pay for those.
Wow.
And she was like dragging me along, and like it was just awful, and I fell over, and so I just kind of stood by the side, and she was like, "I'm just gonna go off," and I was like, "Yeah, probably the best, the best."
I've been like,
so she went.
I've been like 5 times, but the last time I went was like 8 years ago. But I always enjoyed it because I really used to like doing roller skating, like rollerblading, whatever it was.
No, I can't do that either.
But that's I kind of like. I was okay at it, and then I saw my sister. Whenever my sister had like those birthday parties, like I want to go ice skating. I was like, oh, can I come? It's like she was there, like with her 8-year-old friends. I was like,
that's cool.
Figure skating, doing all the flips,
going backwards, doing
twirls,
and all that, backflips, all sorts, mate.
Yeah.
You should see me.
No, it would be cool, but I can't imagine you, Joscel. You'd be a bit like Bambi, to be honest.
Mate. I'm literally diamond in the rust, mate. In the, what is it? Diamond in the rough. Sorry, diamond in the rust. What's that become a meme now?
I love being a diamond in the rust.
Diamond in the rust. Sick. Awesome. Brilliant. Shot myself there.
Is it time for our first guest?
I believe it is, and actually, it's quite a good segue.
Exciting.
Because we are calling our little guest
it is
slot the Rusty Club.
Yes, the Rusty
for two
Club.
reasons. Because we're very rusty at interviewing people. We don't really know what we're doing. But also our favourite pub in Oxford, just going to do a hashtag plug for that, is the Rusty Bicycle down in Cowley.
Love
It's one
it
of the
there.
nicest places
Absolutely love it there.
Vibes.
Yeah. So we're gonna hopefully we're not infringing on copyright, but we're calling this interview section the Rusty Club.
Yeah. Nice little merger there.
All right, we'll get the guest on now. It is now time for us to introduce the 27 podcast's first ever guest. He is a star wide receiver, tearing up Division 2 Uniball, as well as being an up-and-comer in the world of cricket. Lockdown has clearly taken its toll, though, as he's lost all of his hair. This is the one and only Mr. James Kennedy. James, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Harry. I quite like the tearing up Division 2 football. That was
generosity.
for those not on the American football team, will have to believe that, which is great.
Jack Mitchell will be turning right now.
Yeah, exactly. If Coach Laurent is listening, he'll be like, "Sacre bleu, what's going on here?"
Yeah, James, how are you today?
We're very well, enjoying quarantine life, as I'm sure you all are.
Yeah.
I suppose bit easier in the fact that I've very luckily still got my job, so it keeps the day quite busy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Are you guys still busy?
We are. It's so obviously we're not doing as much work with travel companies because there's not much travel going on. But we've seen an increase in, home and garden companies wanting to do business, fashion companies.
Mhm.
The takeaway business is, of course, completely taken off, which is great. We're introducing some stuff exclusively for the NHS, which is also
Oh, that's
fantastic because
That's cool.
they're doing
Can you
such
give
a great
brief
job.
background as to what your job is?
Yes, of course. So I currently am on my placement year. I'm working at a voucher code company, and my official title is sales and operations intern. So I'm just doing it sort of in work with the day-to-day exposure booking and helping provide and make pages that show some of our exclusive and great offers that we have.
Yeah.
It's a really fun job. It's a really young company, which is great, and we get a lot of work perks in the office. Lots of free food, which currently we don't have at the moment, but because we're not in the office. But
Also, isn't it Friday night beer, isn't it? Isn't that
beer o'clock on a
tradition?
Friday.
Beer o'clock.
It's quite nice. Normally tell mum and dad I'll be home by 7 and don't end up walking through the door around 11 o'clock instead, which is
Nice.
goes down a treat.
All right, I'll pass you on to Ben now, who will sort of explain what this is going to be about.
Yeah, thanks, Harry. So this week we're going to talk about the start of university, and basically we're going to each give our own stories of what it was like when we first started, and we're going to ask JK some questions about his time, and just kind of let you guys know if you haven't started uni what it's like, or if you have started uni, get a bit of a feel for
our individual lives.
And see if any of them are similar. So the term that gets thrown around a lot before you go to university is, these are the greatest years of your life. And I kind of I don't know about you, but I think it almost puts a bit of pressure onto uni life, because you feel like if you're not having the greatest time of your life, then you're doing it wrong. And you start questioning yourself, you start doubting yourself. So I just wanted to see how everyone really thought, maybe not now, because I think all our opinions have changed.
Yeah.
But especially at the start, what was it like? So JK, especially for you, you're our guest. So what was it like for you when you first started?
I was very excited to start university. It's I suppose from the fact that being away from home didn't really affect me, because I went to boarding school and have done since I was 8 years old. So the home element of it, I wouldn't say was something I was worried about, because it's what I've really been used to. Obviously, I think there was definitely some pressure to make friends, as you said. People's meant to be the greatest years of your life, which sort of makes you think, oh God, I've got to make friends within the first 2 days, or I'm going to have an absolutely rubbish time. Which is not true, because I think you mentioned it in the first episode of your podcast that someone said that the people you meet necessarily in your first week you won't be your friends for the rest of your time at uni. Which was different for you guys, because you guys met in your first week, but I can definitely say the same. There are some people I met in my first week of uni that I went out clubbing with, and I don't think I've seen since that first week.
That's true.
But I can definitely see the argument for it being the greatest years in your life. I certainly had a lot of fun, but very sadly it's not the same for everyone. Some people don't necessarily enjoy it. Some people enjoy it for other factors, but I've really enjoyed it. I don't know about you guys. What do you think?
It was brilliant. In retrospect, my 3 years so far have been absolutely brilliant. But I remember specifically day one of when I came to uni, my dad, he dropped me off, and I just couldn't wait, because I knew it was a whole new chapter in my life. Does that make sense? So I'm from Birmingham, right? And I grew up in a household that was very much regimented, in the sense that it wasn't restricted, but I was ready. I felt ready. I felt prepared, because in my family, they taught me everything that I needed to know, all that kind of stuff, like responsibilities, all that jazz. So when I came to uni, I didn't really understand what to expect. And it was the fact that I was walking into an unknown that really excited me, type business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I remember literally when I first came into it and I met all my flatmates in Clive Booth, we were like, oh my God, hi, how you doing? Because we were natural, like, busy bees, you know, social butterflies and stuff. And then it was the first day of freshers. I didn't know what drinking was because I've never drank before prior to that. Oh my days, boys. When I say I went on a mad one, oh, Jesus. Memories were made that week. I can tell you that.
I think one of my earliest memories of you, Joscel, was the fishies on a Wednesday night in first year. I think you hit it a bit too hard at Breeze because you passed out on the couches in the hotel.
That was,
just asleep.
That was a travesty.
I'd go pick you up and walk you home.
Yeah, you've done that a fair few times, to be honest. You've done that a fair few times. But it was mental. Absolutely, Mom, Dad, if you're watching this, I'm really sorry, but like, literally, like,
you've dropped a minute now, JK.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm gonna get a WhatsApp message now. Jesus, sorry, Mom. But like, yeah, first week was absolutely insane. In terms of nerves, I guess, I don't know. Like, it's a whole new world, isn't it? Because you spend a good majority of your life wherever you're from. So like Birmingham, Portsmouth, Lincolnshire, wherever JK's from. But like, you spend a lot of your time there. And when you go to university, it's literally a whole new world. It opens up like a whole perspective. So it's just a massive amalgamation of like just nerves and just the unknown, really. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
I think everyone finds Freshers Week really odd and strange. You know, you're, as Joscel said, you're literally in the unknown. So you're making new friends. You're perhaps making, you know, I met so many people in Freshers Week and I couldn't tell you half their names now. Like, it's, you just get bombarded with people, really. Like, everyone wants to know everyone, and it's just like, and I think more to it as well is, I think everyone gets that during freshers. And, you know, obviously we spoke last week about how it's quite rare for people to still be friends with the people that they meet at Freshers Week. You know, obviously myself and Joscel, we did meet at Freshers Week. But apart from that, I think going more into it. So Freshers Week is done. We've done Freshers Week. That is, you know, the unknown, and it's just a party week, really. But I think moving on to like more, maybe that first semester.
Yeah.
How did you guys, you know, cope with it? Because really, well, how did you cope? That's what I guess I want to get out of it.
Well, I think, so when I did my first semester, so I kind of did the whole freshers and first semester thing a bit differently. So I had an unconditional offer from the uni. So I knew I was going there pretty much from like March, April time. So I was added to a group chat of all the other people with unconditional offers. So I'd already known these people for 3 or 4 months But like I'd been in this group chat, they've gone down and down and down, 7 or 8 people, 9 people. And now I don't even really talk to any of them anymore. Like, I really should though, because they're good people. But like, I think for me, the majority of the friends and like stronger relationships I built through that first semester were from the American football team, because I started a sport knowing that if I just joined the gym, I'd go twice and then never go again and end up wasting, you know, 30 quid a month on a membership. So that's why I joined the sport. And I think that really helped me get through, because I didn't have any friends from home when I came to uni. Well, I had one, but that was like in the year above. But like I sort of didn't, and I was coming all the way from Lincolnshire as well, so it's like a 4-hour car journey. 3.5, 4 hours to get to Oxford. So I didn't really know that many people there, and my flatmates, you know. So I think actually being part of the team, like that familial aspect of that, was actually really, really helpful for me. Yeah.
I think that's the thing though, isn't it? Because like when you first go to uni, it's kind of like a free for all, like everyone's trying to know everyone. But then you start to do things that kind of filter out your friendship circle. So like the reason why me and Ben clicked from the get-go was because it was first day of freshers, sick. But we were both studying law as well. That was another thing. Does that make sense? So it kind of like filters that down. Joining the American football team filters down the friendship circle even more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But like, it's kind of like a trial period where you learn new things. You like sign up to loads of different things, right? And then your friendship circles just get smaller and smaller and smaller because you spend more time with those people in those areas that you dedicate your time to. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I think that's the case. I mean, answering Ben's question, definitely in first semester, when it came to actually like studying and like doing all that kind of stuff, it was a big difference from moving from secondary school to university, because the level of independence that you have it's literally just you. Like, lecturers, if you go to lectures, don't expect lecturers to come to you. If you've got a problem, you have to go to them. Whereas in secondary school, when teachers track your progress and stuff, they can be like, oh, come talk to me, we'll deal with this, that, and the other. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
University is very, very independent. It's very, very much, if you've got a problem, you've got to deal with it. You've got to go to the lecturers. You've got to get the resources at the library. It's all on your back. And that was kind of difficult to adjust to, because I was so used to having that support structure in the form of, if I was doing something wrong, my teacher would pick up on it and like they'd bring me, as opposed to me having to go to them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a weird change to adjust to. And like, I remember telling my parents, I was like, it's a bit difficult, but they were like, yeah, but that's how university is. At the end of the day, it's an introduction to your life. Do you know what I mean? That's how it's going to be in your life. You're going to have to do things independently. You're going to have to do things off your own back. So I was like, okay, interesting. So it's just another challenge that I had to just accept and adapt from, really. So
I think a really difficult thing actually is your flat. So the people that you live with.
Mhm.
So JK, what was it like, the people that you live with? Were you like happy with them? Were you, did you all get along? Did it make it worthwhile?
Going into uni, I put Cheney down as my first choice, accommodation wise, and then I had Clyde Booth ensuite as my second choice, and I ended up getting my third choice, which was Clyde Booth non-ensuite, which is when you first find out and you're told that you've got your third choice accommodation, you sort of feel a bit like, oh god, this is not going to be ideal. It's third choice. But again, I actually got quite lucky in the fact that my flat was sort of, we had two, so there were like 2 blocks down each side, and then a couple of the flats had like bridges over, and so there were like 3 flats that were sort of twice the size of every other flat in Clyde Booth, which was my flat. So instead of a flat of 6, I was a flat of 12. Which was great, because it means there was more people to get to know and to get along with. And on my side of the flat, I would say there was only really one person that I got on with and liked, because the other ones, one of them wasn't really there. One of them was an third-year exchange student who was never there. One of them barely spoke English, so we never saw her because she was probably quite shy. And one person from day one was just a bit like, oh, I've got other friends already here. So the other side was great. So it was, I think if I didn't have that other 6, it would have been a very weird odd year. But I suppose the question, semester-wise, my first semester was probably my easiest, in the fact that quite a few of my friends from school were already there. As you said, the American football team was great. And I think lecturers in the uni sort of know that your first semester, they need to make it slightly easier. So we had a lot of like group projects and interesting work to do. I think they made it slightly easier first semester wise. So in that sense, I think first semester was, although it was very nerve-wracking when you first started, work-wise, it might have been one of my easiest semesters. It definitely got tired.
I think first semester was actually my hardest semester out of my 3 years at uni, really. Not just because of work, but the whole experience, really. I found it quite difficult in my first semester. There was one person in my flat that I really didn't get along with, and then the other 3, 4. Three. The other 3, they were like all new, similar people. So they kind of like really instantly clicked, and they were always really nice to me, and they were like, we got along, but I never really went out with them, or I kind of had my own friends to what they had. So I found that quite difficult. And then in halfway through the semester, I then went into hospital because I had like problems with my throat and stuff, and so it kind of just like threw me out of it for a bit. And I had a girlfriend at the time. I don't think that played any hindrance, but I was obviously going to see her as well. So it was really nice because I got to escape uni when I wasn't particularly having a great time. But then I, wasn't at uni, so I missed out on some things. But I don't really see that as a bad thing. But then, I think for me, having things like the American football team, and then I'm a bit of a social butterfly. I like to get to know people. So I know quite a lot of people. I know quite a lot of people on our law course as well. So it was quite nice for me to hang out with them as well. No, but, I eventually grew I eventually grew in a really nice, cool group of people that I could talk to. And so when I was first there, I was like, oh my gosh. And I didn't particularly have a great time. But getting past that, and I really didn't like halls. Like halls in general, I didn't like. Like the last few years I've been in the house, I've absolutely loved.
Yeah.
But halls I really, really did not get along with. And so, yeah, you know, it was a weird one for me because it was probably, my first year was probably my worst year, like overall. Like it was okay. Like that's how I, you know, round it up.
It wasn't particularly memorable, yeah.
I mean, it was memorable for certain factors, but it was just okay. Whereas these last 2 years, I've really enjoyed and like I've just had a really good time. So, that was my sort of.
Well,
what do you think the difference?
I think the moral of the story is that the American football boys are just amazing, aren't we?
I think, in fairness, I actually do think the moral of the story is if you're not having a good time, is when you go to uni, don't rely on people being don't rely on your flat being the only people you're going to make friends with.
Well,
join a society, join a sports team, because if not, you know, you're very limited to who you're going to know.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that you're going to meet some of your best mates on these societies and teams.
To be fair, I actually met you and Joscel through a friend of a friend first before we actually even
started
American football.
But then it just so happened we all were on the same team anyway.
But I mean, like with JK, you lived in the flat above me.
We did.
Yes,
I did, didn't I? But we didn't work that out for a while.
No, we didn't. Like, I think I kept on seeing you get off the bus. I was like, he definitely lives near me. And then like, I can't remember. I think I went to the shop and then I came out. You were also in the shop. We ended up just walking back. Oh, where do you live? Like, oh, it's up there. I'm down here.
So strange. But that was still like 4 or 5 weeks in. It was a very strange.
Not the most.
We were both walking back, and it was a bit like, wait, have you lived there the whole time? No, you've just moved in. There's no way.
So to round it all up, so you know the quote I said at the start: "These are the greatest years of your life." JK, James Kennedy, have these been the greatest years of your life? Obviously, you're still going back, so you've got another year. But so far, has it been? So far,
it's definitely been a fantastic time. Maybe not the greatest, but it's very up there in the top 3. But as you said, I think I can't remember who's just said it, but I wouldn't go in expecting it to be the greatest years of your life, because if you do that, then it might not be. You go expecting to have a good time, and then you will have. I'm sure you'll have a great time.
Yeah. Well, like, are there any regrets or anything you'd change at all, or
anything I change? Ooh, I don't know. I think it was. Do you know what? Actually, no. I think everything happens for a reason, as a lot of people say. But it does. I got my third choice of accommodation, but it turned out great. I made some really good friends who lived in my flat. I met my current girlfriend through one of my flatmates, so that's another amazing positive. Yeah. So no, I don't think I'd change anything, because it all happens for a reason, and it all works out in the end, I'm sure, and it has for me so far.
So what would your advice be? So say, you know, your brother is about to start uni in September, isn't he? Yeah. Fingers crossed. So what would your advice be to him and all other, you know, people about to start uni?
Just go in with no pre-expectations. Just relax, you know, make friends with who you want to make friends with. Definitely join a society, whether that's a sports team, a movie club, whatever your drama club, whatever your interests are, do that, because if it's your interest, you'll have fun and you'll meet like-minded people. Yep. Definitely make friends with people on your course, because it helps, and if you ever need help with that, it's always a nice backup. It's always nice if you never need help. Ooh. Overall message is just go in, relax, and just be yourself.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's exactly what I was going to say.
Literally well said.
Don't be also someone that you're not.
I suppose the other one is some people who don't necessarily have enjoyed their school life. Yeah, it's a fresh start for you.
A whole new chapter.
It can be a nice fresh start. Chapter. You can literally go back and start from page 1 again. If you want.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Well said.
Thank you.
Now, James, before I can make you an official member of the Rusty Club, you need to answer a question that we will be asking.
Do I get a hat? I want a hat. I want a blazer, a hat, a tie.
I'd have a hat with that haircut, I'm not going to lie. I can't say anything. I'm wearing a hat, so that says it all. Oh, boy.
We may be looking into merch down the road, but who knows? But before we can officially make you a member, we have to ask you this very important question that we're going to ask all of our guests, and that is, what is your favourite ABBA song?
Oh.
Ooh.
Do you know what? I absolutely love ABBA, but more I love the film Mamma Mia.
Mm-hmm.
Ben's absolutely. Ben is absolutely.
my eyes have lit up.
I would say because of the movie, my favourite song from the first one, I quite like Slipping Through My Fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And from
Classic.
the second one, I quite like Why Did It Have to Be Me?
Oh,
If I had to choose between the two, it'd be Why Did It Have to Be Me?
Yeah.
Great choice. Great choice.
Fantastic.
It's a fantastic song.
Yeah.
You are definitely going to have some guests in the future, Ben, that are definitely going to be like, I hate ABBA, I'm not answering the phone.
Don't worry, it's a prerequisite to get on the show to have to enjoy one of their
Jack
songs.
Mitchell will probably be like, what's ABBA?
So JK, what are you doing with yourself for next week?
Next week, just back to work on Monday, which will be my first 5-day full working day week for a few weeks, so that's going to be interesting. But I suppose as nothing's going on, I look forward to the NFL draft happening.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I mean, I would have been excited about anyway. But
we're having a Zoom call for that, surely.
That is probably the most exciting part of my week.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat there.
Draft is going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
I mean, my team, the same as Harry, the Jacksonville Jaguars, we have 2 first-round picks.
They're apparently trading away everyone we've got at the moment. So
yeah, we might as well start a fresh new team.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just looking forward to the end of lockdown, going back to work. Lots and lots of been doing a lot of pub quizzes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, shout out to someone I work with, Andrea, did a very interesting one earlier this week. Very different in the fact that we were all on like a Zoom call sort of thing.
Yeah.
And she goes, right, get up the Zoom. So you know how you can chat on Zoom?
Oh, yeah.
Like you type and chat. So she goes, I'm going to give you a letter of the alphabet, and you have to give a place, a food and drink, a person, an object, and I can't remember and a country or something. And she goes, and you all have to, the first person to type all 5 wins. And so she goes, the letter B, and then you have to type it all at once, and the first person to send it wins. And she did it 5 or 6 times. And then one question was, right, all the letters I've used spell out the name of someone playing this quiz. Go. First person to type wins.
Oh, that is cool.
And then the second round was we had to have a pad of paper, and she gave us like, you have 10 seconds to draw a kangaroo or something. And then we'd set up a WhatsApp group, and we'd send a picture, and she would pick the best picture. That would be the winner. And she did. But it would be like, you have 5 seconds to draw a cat, 30 seconds to draw a seahorse, and it was varying.
Damn.
Hey, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then the final round was, she goes, right, you're going to take a picture, and first person to send the picture to the group chat wins. Take a picture of something yellow. Take a picture of some food. Take a picture of another person.
That's like multi-layered.
That's very interactive. I like that.
Yeah. It was really cool. So when you do your BJ in, which I'm still waiting to receive the call up for, maybe that's I see it all over Instagram stories, and I'm just like, oh, cheers, guys. It looks so much.
At the moment, we're on a very select.
Very exclusive.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure we'll get you on next time. Thank you very much, James, for coming on.
Cheers, JK.
It's
been an absolute pleasure.
Boys.
Welcome to the Rusty Club.
Thank you. Yeah,
The Rusty Club, honoring.
And where can people find you on Instagram?
Oh, where can't they find me? I'm all over the place. Well, after this, my fame is going to be shooting up. I'm sure I'll be on Rigby next week, and I think I'll probably on House of Rugby in a few weeks' time. James Kendog, I'm sure you've done a very nice Instagram handle.
We'll have a little banner down here.
Facebook James Kennedy, but that's reserved for friends only. My exciting Twitter, which I think I have about 10 followers, probably 3 of them being you 3, at James Kendog again, I think. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
Yeah.
Nice. Great. Thank you very much,
Right,
James.
absolute pleasure, JK. Thank you so
very
much.
much.
Speak to you
So
soon.
am I signing off now? I'm not very good with tech. Am I
Oh, then
leaving?
I'll start recording. Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you very
JK.
much.
Adios, buddy. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you once again to our guest, James Kennedy. I'm sure you loved him as much as we did. We're now going to move on to
Absolutely
Nothing to
brilliant.
Watch. And this week we watched Three Identical Strangers, the documentary following the three estranged brothers meeting after several years of separation. And it's available on Netflix. Ben, what did you think of it?
It just blew my
my
mind.
God.
It was, so firstly, I didn't realise when I first watched it, it goes straight into it. So like they meet
Yeah, from the
straight
very
away.
beginning.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it'd be more about the story of them meeting, but
Yeah.
it was amazing. Like the instant connection they had, like, and I love the bit where the auntie or one of them just goes, they literally all found each other and they like jumped on each other and started rolling on the floor,
Literally,
like hugging.
yeah.
Like it was, they knew they were brothers, and
Exactly.
it was just incredible. And the actual story of, so for those of you that don't know how much the story is, that one of them goes to this college, so like, and everyone, he arrives, he's really nervous on the first day, and everyone's like, oh, hey, Eddie, it's so good to see you again, man. Oh, what, Eddie, I thought you weren't coming back. And like, girls were kissing him on the lips, and he was like, what was going on? He was like, this is my first day here. And he gets like to, his dorm room, and then Eddie's best friend is like, who are you? He's like, you literally, the first thing he asked him is, are you adopted?
Yeah.
And then it's like, what's your birthday? And then it's like, you've got a twin brother. And then they go out and go find him. And then they're in the paper. And then another brother is like, oh my gosh,
You look exactly
there's two
like
of me
me.
in the paper.
Yeah.
What is going on? And then they all find each other. And it's just this great, great story about
It's
them.
insane.
Yeah. And like it follows
but
them
then
from like,
it goes into... Go on, Harry, sorry.
It's just saying it follows them from like the age of 19 up until, well, the present day, sort of what's happened with them. And like just how like sort of nature versus nurture discussion, things like that. But yeah.
And it's,
Yeah, it just, the whole thing really caught me off guard, because the direction that it went, it took a massive plot twist halfway through, and it delved into a whole new realm of like psychology and stuff, which was like...
Well, that's the thing is, so to give you some backstory for people that are listening that haven't seen it, first of all, you need to go watch it because it is so interesting.
Absolutely
it's only
brilliant.
an hour and a half.
So good.
But basically what happens is when you're an these triplets, were adopted separately at about 6 months. And basically the story is that when the parents were adopting each child, they didn't know that there was two more. So they didn't know that they were triplets. And basically this adoption agency that was running it had done that to other twins, other triplets as well. And they were basically doing a study on them about how they would act, and would they act similar when they're older. And so it's, first of all, it is the most inhumane thing ever. That you just can't do that. That is outrageous. Like,
that's a
I think it's
so wrong.
I think it's Bobby that sort of says like when he first found out, he's like, that's just some Nazi stuff. He says a word.
It is. It literally is.
That's ridiculous.
The auntie one of them says, like, when you play with humans, you do something horribly wrong. And that is, she was literally like, we are from a Jewish background, so the Jews suffered in the Holocaust. And then she was like, and then if you've not learned from that to do that now, it's
insane.
just... have you guys seen The Truman Show?
Yes. Yeah.
No, with Jim Carrey, and he thinks he's basically in a TV show.
Yeah, he grows up in a TV show, not knowing he's in one.
Yeah. And it gave me those kind of vibes. Like with them coming to film them and stuff.
But like the thing kind of got me was like when they, with the instant connection, when they first found each other, of course they were on the chat shows, they were in like a film, like I didn't had a cameo, but like they were all this stuff, and like they're sort of playing, like they all smoked the same cigarettes, they all had the same taste in women, they all had the same favorite colors, and when they're going through that, like the first time round, they're like, oh, this is so amazing, I can't believe you do this. And then after they reveal the well, not the testing, but sort of like the observance of what happens and how they change stuff. They play that footage again, and it like you sort of start to think, oh, hang on, this is kind of messed up, like ridiculously messed up, as what they were doing. I mean, I think they said the study was like between like 1960 and 1980, so there were 20 years there of like kids being adopted off, not knowing who, whether they were related to other people or not, and it's quite scary. Yeah.
And it's that last line where it's like they don't know. So the study never got like published. It's never come to light. So no one, and they finally got to see the notes, but it's all redacted. So no one actually knows how many
twins has been affected by this.
Yeah. And so, like, the guy at the end who was one of the main journalists about the whole thing was like, you could literally walk around the corner. You could literally walk around the corner and bump into your twin.
Mm-hmm.
And you would never have known that you were a twin because there was so much, devious stuff going on.
Yeah.
And it's just, I just sat there and was just like, I can't believe this. Like, it was so happy and amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And like all the brothers are so great and they love it, and then it just breaks and it's all twisted.
And they sort of like,
there was like the whole thing on.
Going back. Yeah.
There's like the whole thing on mental illness with one of them as well.
Yeah.
And I mean that's such an important topic, and it's not something that we necessarily got time this week to talk about, but definitely in a future episode. And like the effects that it had on them, just it actually kind of when it kills one of them in the end, it
was what I found really interesting though was how like it was talking about twin depression or something like that, where because obviously they were separated at birth,
separation,
they knew that as a baby.
My gosh,
and they all possess similar characteristics. That was so interesting. I was like
they all were smacking their heads on the side of the wall and stuff, and and it's when I can't remember what the bigger one was called, but he sat there and he went, now I know that was separation anxiety. I was like, oh my God.
The fact that was a thing.
What
I was
these
like,
people did.
What?
Oh, it was just awful, but it is such a good documentary.
Yeah. Oh, I sat there. Yeah.
Another thing that further baffled me was the interview that one of the people had with the older woman who was part of the thing. She was like, back then when the guy was doing it, she was like, she didn't see anything wrong with that. There was no ethics at that time. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But I don't think there were.
That's just crazy.
There is only one, I mean, like, some of it was funny, but there is one thing just before we end the segment that I have to bring up with you guys. Does that old lady, have we all seen Come Fly With Me?
Yes.
Behave yourself.
She looks like, no, I've never flied before.
I have never flown in an airplane.
First class.
Yes, a doctor.
And he gets the guy, Moses to buy him all the drink and cigarettes. And then just before he gets on the plane, he goes, oh no, I have flown many times. She reminded me so much.
It's so weird though, because she's met like every single prominent Democrat from the last sort of 10, 15, 20 years. So like, it's like, oh, this is me with Michelle Obama. This is me with like Al Gore. This is me with like all these massive political things, and it's just like, it just like points out some Picassos as well, and it's just so strange world. I mean, because I think looking back, she did have some regrets doing it. Like she said at the point at the time, not seeing any issue. It's quite a strange like thing to think about. Like, so what?
Yeah, I mean, that's just such a whole culture thing as well. Like, life is so different. Different generations and different things. So you can. So I just got some work going on outside. Don't know if you can hear.
I was like, what? Like
nice little drill. But yeah. Can you guys hear that?
Yeah. It's so loud. I thought it was someone's phone.
Okay, you two talk. I'm just gonna go check my window.
But yeah, it was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
Really bad.
I'm back.
Oh, right. She shouted at them.
It didn't take long.
Sounds like an aeroplane.
Yeah. Well, I think at that point, I think it's perfect time to sport and entertainment. Anyone got anything?
No, there's no sport.
No, nothing's going on.
Although in entertainment, Friday Night Dinner, the new series is back on form.
Hilarious.
I've cried
Absolutely
laughing.
hilarious.
The au pair episode is just incredible.
Yeah.
I know cringe humor isn't like a lot of people's thing, but like I love it so much.
Yeah, it's like the same like the American Office and like the Office, British Office as well. Like it is cringe humor, and if you don't like it, then you won't like it. But it is. We love it. We absolutely.
If you
love
like the in between, things like that, just you'll love it.
Yeah. So Harry, who have we got next week?
We will have our second ever guest next week, which is Mr. James Lamerton, who has known Ben for a million years. He's one of his good friends, and he's become quite good friends with me and Joscel over the last couple of years as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
So really look forward to that.
Very, very good. Very, very good.
Anyone do anything of noteworthy this week?
Work and
Not
work, really. That's kind of it.
Literally. Literally, it's just a cycle, really.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's just another week, isn't it? Is it week 5 on Monday?
I think we're going into week 5, which is just crazy. I've got into a routine now, weirdly. So I'm working night shifts, day shifts, late shifts, early shifts, whatever at work. But I've got into like a routine going through everything, and it's actually quite good for me to have something to go and do rather than just
sane. Yeah.
It
keeps you sane. Yeah.
Well, so I'll keep doing my Bring Sally Up challenge. So at the moment, I'm on 115.
115.
So next week,
115.
Yeah, next week I will beat that. That's my goal for the week. So but thank you very much, guys, for listening.
Thank you very much.
We're now available on so many new platforms. I think we're on to 6 different platforms now. So that's Spotify, Breaker, Radio Public, Podcasts, all the specific podcast things. We're still waiting on Apple, but that's just the way.
By the time this video comes out, when this episode comes out, we should definitely be on it.
Fingers crossed, we should definitely be on there. But
and we're on YouTube as well.
Yeah, you can watch the wonderful video. You can watch our faces as we talk as well. See the cows out behind Joscel. See Ben's lovely painting. See this clock up here, which is actually broken.
My fleece. My fleece is what you can see.
Just thank you everyone who listened to the first podcast. Thank you for the feedback you gave us as well. We absolutely
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
This is my favorite thing I've ever done. I've had so much fun and seeing the well, not reviews, but people's feedback on it, just sort of giving us suggestions for things to do.
Yeah.
This is a project we're completely new to this, but we're learning and we want to get better at this. So I'm
just getting better. That's the thing. We're getting better.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
So good. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Adios.
Bye.